everybody. Wow. I think my voice just changed.
Yes. Congratulations, Mazel.
It's about time. Mazel, yeah. Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hatton with One Nation Under Whiskey Podcast, extra edition. And I'm joined today, and as always, by my good friend and my business partner of many, many years, the dear Mr. Jason Neal, Patrick Harris, Johnston Yellen. And I noticed today, Jason, that we're twinning.
Look at that. It's our fall colors.
Yeah.
For the listeners, again, this is crushing it for the listeners.
Right.
But our fall colors are very nice. Ochre, burnt sienna.
Burnt sienna, yes.
Dark amber. Very whiskey colors. Those are all descriptors we have used for whiskey colors.
Right? Runny honey. I think mine's a little runny honey.
Runny honey. Wow. What's happening on your end of the camera is happening on your end of the camera.
It's a little runny honey.
There are healthcare professionals available in your towns and cities.
You know what I saw? I know we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I need to bring this up, Jason. For the first time in my life,
oh boy,
I got to see the Northern Lights.
There you go.
The Aurora Borealis right in my backyard. It just stunning. Absolutely stunning.
I've heard good things, to be fair. It comes highly rated.
Growing up in Scotland, is that something that you will have seen just growing up because you were further north?
Yeah, I never did. Hard to see it through rain clouds.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, for Guy Fawkes night, we set off the fireworks really low. Sometimes about, forehead height, just so that you can see them. And we just have the kids lie on their backs. Unfortunately, it's in a puddle. But then they're lying on their backs in a puddle, looking up at them exploding at parental forehead height. It's beautiful, glorious. Yeah, the most beautiful fireworks.
Yeah. Are they in a puddle so they don't catch fire? Just Guy Fawkes?
Really, if you lie down in Scotland, the chances are you're lying down in a puddle. Could be rainwater, could be piss. Nobody really knows.
Yeah.
You take your chances in Scotland. That's how we grow up tough.
Speaking of piss.
Nope.
Nope. No. Yeah. Our listeners are really loving this. You'd sent me a sample, which I've poured into this glass, and you told me it was a sample of something delicious. And by the looks of it, it was either whiskey, apple juice, or something.
Let's stop there. Apple juice colored.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. All right.
So now that you're holding it in your hand, would you say runny honey?
I wouldn't say runny honey. I would say apple juice, especially this time of year, right?
Would you say light maple syrup?
Yeah, not grade A. Definitely not grade A, but light. Yeah, light maple syrup. Yeah.
So the color of the whiskey that we are talking about today, it really goes hand in glove with my trip down to see them for their 10th anniversary shindig on November 9. Really terrific visit to Virginia Distillery Company in Livingston, Virginia. Very good friends of Single Cask Nation, very good friends of the podcast. And as regular listeners know, Jess was at my house. And even a couple of weeks before the anniversary visit, Jess and I had been down there and hanging out with Amanda and Brian, saw Dustin, saw the team down there. Really tremendous visits. They're always tremendous visits. But it was Jess's first trip, and gave Amanda Beckwith, master blender down at VDC, gave her a chance to talk about the Brewers Coalition that I think VDC are doing a really good job getting known for. Okay. And on this very podcast, approximately a year ago, Whiskey Advocate, in their annual top 20 list, had the VDC Hardywood Gingerbread Stout Cask Finish as their 17th placed whiskey of the year.
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was batch 1. That was the very first effort put out by Amanda. You and I had been talking, but potentially in that recording, but certainly between ourselves, Joshua, about being at the distillery together when you were in town in 2024. Gosh. And we had tasted a prototype together. Of that gingerbread stout cask. And we had said, that's cracking. Absolutely cracking. What a wonderful product to be putting out into the market. Never imagining that it would resonate so highly at Whiskey Advocate magazine. And so for that to make it into the top 20 for the year, an immediate hit on their hands, immediate success, and immediately Amanda knew she was working on batch 2 for 2025. So in your glass this day, and about to be in mine, I haven't poured just yet, but we together are going to be sampling the 2025 offering of the Virginia Distillery Company Brewers Coalition Hardywood Gingerbread Stout Cask Finish American Single Malt Whiskey.
Oof, that's a mouthful.
I refused to commit to an incomplete Joshua Hatton list. I have the label in front of me, and I was 100% going for it. So for the viewers and listeners, I am holding the bottle in front of the camera here. I like this little neck piece that they have here, which is showing the top 20 result, and it says 2024 on it, where they made it into the Whiskey Advocate list. So kudos to them on that. Then talks about, this is all the verbiage right down the front of this label that I read to you. This is 50% alcohol. And from the side label, give you some bearings here. I'll stop before their tasting notes, and then we can have a read of their tasting notes after we've had a little chat.
Okay.
So it says, the second edition offering highlights a remarkably decadent American single malt, enhanced by the nostalgic holiday characteristics of Hardywood Gingerbread Stout. Just 30 barrels were sourced for this release, which was aged first in premium ex-bourbon barrels for over 5 years, and then finished in barrels that previously held this seasonal stout release. Then it goes into their tasting notes. And then on the side, it clearly says 2025 edition. And in the interest of full disclosure, because we're very good boys around here, we're very ethical boys and girls around here. Jess has 2 legal degrees. She keeps us honest.
Yes, she does. She does indeed.
I can let you know this was a very generous gift from Amanda Beckwith.
Oh, that's very nice.
So I said, thank you very much. And I hadn't even told her until today that you and I were planning to have a little taste of this on the podcast.
You hadn't even told me that this was going to happen. This came in with it came in this little box. We had some cask samples that we were tasting for some potential future releases. And I know we had 4 cask samples, and then there was this 5th slot that was full.
Indeed.
And I said, "Oh, look at that! There's a little extra sample, and it was a nice little treat."
So the first thing I would say to listeners and viewers, and to you, Joshua,
all right,
is when you hear stout, you perhaps think of more of the kind of the bourbon barrel stouts that are out there, the imperial stouts that are out there, and you might be thinking of something heavier, darker, and more roasted. And in tasting this at the distillery with Jess, with Amanda, with Brian, it's the gingerbread that captures me first. And I found this to be fruitier and spicier than the stout really had in my head.
So I just want to be clear here. You got to taste the stout itself?
No, this whiskey. Tasting this whiskey.
Okay. Have you tasted this?
Of this stuff. So I have in passing. So Hardywood, or the brewer, who are in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
And so another maybe 90 minutes past Charlottesville will get you down to Richmond. So I could probably make it to Richmond in a couple of hours, ballpark, 2.25. Not sure.
Okay.
Can't remember the last time I sped that direction. But yeah, we've got this lovely Virginia product here. Hardywood, VDC, and me sitting in Virginia tasting this. So very exciting. But you know what I mean about when you see a stout cask. So for example, Jess has the Goose Island Brewers Coalition, VDC.
Yep.
More of the stout you might expect, the darkness that you might expect.
Sure.
This, even to the point of color, and why we started talking color, this apple juice color here, for me, starts talking about, those lighter fruit spice notes. I even, like a dehydrated apricot thing going on.
I love that you went there. The whole time I'm nosing this, that's what I was thinking. Dehydrated fruits, apples, apricots, pears. It's more orchard fruits. It's not tropical fruits, but it's the orchard fruits. And then there's, touches of baking spices going on here, which is really, really nice. And a soft breadiness, right?
When you say a soft breadiness, as in the bread is soft, or the note of the bread is soft?
Yeah, like the note of the bread is soft. Like it's not, sometimes you nose a whiskey and you get this big malt character coming out. Like you're getting it. There's a bit of that coming forth, and it's just a soft, gentle note coming through because there's a lot of fruit and a lot of baking spice coming at you. And the malt is more just like a bit of a backbone to that larger story, if you will.
Yeah. The comment that I'm forever making to anybody who'll listen, and even those who won't, is while VDC is doing its own thing, and it's got, Scottish produced stills, and it's 100% malted barley, and they've got their, beautiful 1920s mill. They so often make me think of Glenmorangie, and I think of overlap there with those two distilleries. And when you've had the VDC in fresh bourbon, I think it absolutely hits home. But one of the things that VDC does very well in is cider casks. And I always think of the Glenmorangie that found success in the cider casks.
Yeah, for sure.
And so when the last time Amanda was actually at my house, I poured the Glenmorangie maple cask for her. And that offering absolutely sings. And it was the unpeated version of the maple cask from Glenmorangie.
Okay.
Absolutely sings. But I think that the versatility of spirit that we witness with Glenmorangie, I definitely witness with VDC.
Yeah.
And I think it fits this Hardywood gingerbread stout finish well. When we were down for the 10th anniversary, we tasted it in the cask house. We didn't have to climb over any cask. Don't worry, I didn't get my good clothes dirty. Don't worry. Brian got his good clothes dirty. But he went and got the Fino, right? There's a Fino cask. VDC in the warehouse, right? With that, the coastal notes are in there. But again, that shape-shifting nature of VDC fits the Fino cask so well. So I always like to point out for people, getting into American single malt whiskey, but who already love Scotch. If you love something like a Glenmorangie, VDC is absolutely in your wheelhouse. And I know that the Whiskey Advocate Top 20 list really runs the gamut on whiskies, right? They're very good about being equal opportunity there. But you could see the way, and I think you and I maybe said this in 2024, you could see the way in which the Gingerbread Stout Cask VDC would work for a Scotch drinker.
Oh God, yeah, right. I mean, it in a similar way that rye whiskey works for a Scotch drinker, right? You've got that complexity of flavors, the spicy characteristics coming through. It just seems to fit. It seems to nestle so nicely with the Scotch whiskey palate.
Yeah.
I really, just really quickly before you go in on your tasting notes, I've got some tasting notes I want to throw out there. But your comparison to Glenmorangie, I think, is so spot on, because both of them have this spirit that is so malleable, but it never loses its character despite what cask it's in. It's got a strength of character, but works so well in so many different casks.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And does for Glenmorangie peated and unpeated, and
it's
very
well.
I think Glenmorangie and rye cask.
Yeah, right. I think
Glenmorangie and virgin oak
and VDC in the Pheno, VDC and right, the ones that we've done in the STR, and then in the Spanish Oak Oloroso, and
oh my gosh, so good, so very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Richard Patterson. Dickie P over there.
So one of the notes that I got on the palate here that I wasn't expecting was this really bright note, really bright, fresh. Oh, I want to say this without it sounding pejorative in any way, because it's not. But it's bright, almost like a pledge, like a cleaning, like you want to clean off your dining room table, but it's like a nice sort of scented cleaning solution, that you're like, oh, isn't that nice? One of those things, but very bright and engaging.
Would you go with that being more of I'm trying to think of the various flavors, but I think of pine comes to mind for cleaning. I'm thinking, fresh laundered linen in an airing cupboard kind of freshness.
It's right there. Yeah, it's more that fresh linen going on. But it's really present, where linen tends to be a more subdued kind of a scent. This is really coming at me in a lovely way.
Well, and that's why I really wanted to lead the listeners, viewers, and you on this not being a dark, heavy stout cask finish, and to allow this room for the fruit to come through, the vibrancy to come through. And to me, this is crunchy, fallen fall leaves. Right. I'm thinking orange leaves, red leaves, right? And just the way you can, we're back to being kids again, right? Throwing those above your head and the way they would fall back down around you and hit your shoulders and things like that. That's what I get in here is that kind of memory.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's no doubt about that. Yeah. Go ahead. All right.
The other thing I wanted to return to, as we're kind of talking Scotch and we're talking Glenmorangie, I'm so happy that they put this out at 50% alcohol. This, my guess is this would still be working at 46% alcohol. We probably wouldn't have an issue with it. But at that 50, I'm looking at the legs in the glass. I can feel this on my tongue. I can feel the presence of this on my tongue. And it's chewy, just like we like a whiskey to be. But also for this time of year, when you're maybe a little colder outside and then returning indoors and pouring a dram. That's where I think this really has an additional quality with the 50% on this.
That's a really good point. This time of year when things are getting a little colder, most people turn to peat. I don't turn to peat. I
never turn away from peat.
I know you never turn away from peat. I understand this, but a lot of people sort of go to peat. That's their warming. For me, I really prefer peaty whiskeys, especially peated whiskeys and bourbon casks in warmer temperatures. To me, that feels summery for whatever reason. But in the colder temperatures, a sherry cask, or I like something that brings a warmth to you. And this has that. This is a lovely alternative to that really something that's really weighty. This is that nice sort of in between a bourbon cask and a sherry cask. This is like Goldilocks to me, It's really.
Yeah, I get the building gingerbread quality as this starts to layer on my palate. I'm also thinking about growing up with, for dessert, as we called pudding.
Pudding.
There was no pudding. It was just, we called dessert pudding. You would have a slice of gingerbread, and then you would pour warm custard over the top of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what you're then taking with your spoon, and you're getting that bite of warm gingerbread with warm custard. So it's textural and it's buttery and it's creamy, but it's got that lovely bready quality that you were talking about on the nose, with a bit of that ginger, with a little bit of the spice coming through the sweet and the vanilla from the custard. Like, that was one bite. And in one sip, I'm getting that in VDC.
Yeah, along with that, so I love the custard note. I think that custard note is spot on. But as it transitions towards the finish, I get this like candied orange peel note coming through, right?
Yep. Yeah, and not whatever the more zesty fruit version of a potpourri is. Like, I'm not getting this being floral, but when some people in their living room on their coffee table have a bowl of something that's a bit more citrus driven, dried citrus driven. Yeah. I'm getting that in the back of the finish as well. A little sandalwood as it kind of transitions.
100%. There have been other stout casks that we've had, like I remember a Westland stout cask that we had, a few other ones. And all of them seem to have a more drying characteristic to it. This one doesn't have that. It's really juicy, right? It has this weighty, oily quality to it across the palate. There's no dryness to it, which,
So everyone's mileage is different. I'm getting it juicy on the tongue. I'm getting it drying on the sides of my tongue. And then in the finish. And then that's what's leading me to reintroduce it and reintroduce the juiciness of it to then allow it to have that natural drying. Very much the journey of a good red wine, right? Enters juicy, gets drying, lets you have some of the spice, lets you know where the tannins are, and then you take another sip or another drink or another draft.
Yeah.
And then you let that wash over.
I could see that. I just don't find it dramatic in any way. Like, I think there's enough juiciness for me to focus on. And we've talked about this over the years. Like, I'm very good at focusing in on certain things. And if I focus in on what I really love, which is the juiciness, that's where I'm going to keep my focus.
Yeah, I'm always paying attention to the fuller picture, right? This is happening here, but what's happening over there? Like, that's part of my issues. Anyway, let's see how many we agree with.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So from VDC themselves, and I knew once. I don't know if these are written by Amanda or not. I feel like Amanda plays a part in this. I wonder if someone else adds to them, but. When Amanda hears this, I'm sure she will text. This says, enjoy the scents of fragrant, fresh peaches, Amalfi lemons, and candied ginger meld into the rich flavors of walnuts and freshly baked Snickerdoodle cookies.
Oh, God, I'm so hungry right now.
I just ate before we started recording because before that I was so hungry and it wasn't a good idea to do a tasting on top of hunger.
Oh no. Snickers. So Snickerdoodles does so much lifting.
For listeners in other countries, how would you describe a Snickerdoodle?
Oh, man. Well, right. People can do Snickerdoodles. I think Snickerdoodles, look at you. You finished yours. I poured my entire sample in here. So
oh, gosh. Oh, you really went to town. Good on you. A full ounce.
I've had a day. I need the whiskey. So Snickerdoodles, you can get a lot in there and people have their own recipes, right? So you are going to have chocolate chips in there. Of course, you're going to have a bit of caramel-like things. I've seen people put coconut shreds into Snickerdoodles. Right?
This sounds like pineapple and carrot cake. This sounds very controversial.
Who the fuck puts pineapple in carrot cake?
Oh, very
crazy people.
Well-known practice. I will not say well-respected. Well-known practice.
Let's just say this: a Snickerdoodle has a bunch of things in it, right?
Is there peanut butter anywhere near a Snickerdoodle?
Oh, I don't think I've ever had peanut butter in a Snickerdoodle.
I was just wondering for people overseas, if you hear Snickers, that's the peanut,
Snickerdoodle
candy bar.
So here, what's the classic? I'm going to do this in real time. You ready?
I feel like you're checking with ChatGPT here. ChatGPT, make me a batch of Snickerdoodle cookies.
So main ingredients: sugar, eggs, vanilla extract, essence of cream. Oh wow, this is not how I make my Snickerdoodles.
Turns out
this
Josh
is not how I do my Snickerdoodle. Do I not make a Snickerdoodle the way people make Snickerdoodles? Who is doing Snickerdoodles?
Do you want to keep telling people the answer instead of reading your screen?
We have had an in-house Snickerdoodle that is not what people call Snickerdoodles.
What are the chances of that happening?
Like, this basically just looks like a sugar cookie. It looks like a sugar cookie with like cinnamon atop it.
Okay, that's what I thought a Snickerdoodle was. So I maybe asked the wrong person to explain a Snickerdoodle. And then we put coconut, and then we back up the car.
No, a Snickerdoodle.
We empty the fuel tank into
it. The way that we've treated Snickerdoodles, we're like a cookie version of what a Snicker might be. But then I've seen other people call them Snickerdoodles, and then they would add like shredded coconut in them, and they've called them Snickerdoodles. What is going on in the world?
Gosh, are we in an alternate? Old when we found out what's in a Snickerdoodle.
Did we just enter an alternate universe?
A few moments later.
Silence is good for a podcast.
That silence is really bad for a podcast. Thank God for editing. Wow.
It's going to work for the video. We're going to be sitting here staring at each other.
So listeners, don't listen to me. Apparently a Snickerdoodle is like a sugar cookie with some cinnamon atop it. Like, makes no sense. Like, don't call a cookie a fucking Snickerdoodle if you're not going to have anything that resembles a goddamn Snickers.
Yeah, if you don't have toasted coconut in your Snickerdoodle, GTFO.
I don't put coconut in my Snickers. I put things that resemble a Snickers into my Snickerdoodle. You have to have chocolate. You have to have nougaty flavors in there. You have to have caramelly flavors in there. Right? These things make sense. You have a nuttiness in there. Right? These things make sense.
Virginia Distillery Company, you have broken Joshua Hatton this day.
I feel I'm going to write my congressperson. They're back in session, so here we are. They'll probably take my call. My good golly gosh.
There's one thing they love. It's phone calls about Snickerdoodle ingredients. There's one thing. Take it to the Iowa State Fair during the next presidential primary.
What I love is before we got into this, and I started explaining what a Snickerdoodle is, the people who have been making apparently what the internet has been telling people a Snickerdoodle is, like, what the hell is Hatton talking about? He doesn't know what a Snickerdoodle is. No.
Are you sure he doesn't put pineapple in carrot cake? Because he sounds like the type of person who would put pineapple in carrot cakes. Meanwhile, you're over there. Who puts pineapple in carrot cakes? It's a mockery.
Jesus Christ. Up is down, left is right, Jason. Fucking 6 and 7. Ask the kids.
Together. Oh my gosh. So I thought once in a Snickerdoodle for international listeners was the softest of softball questions. I did not imagine what was going to happen over the last 4 minutes.
Gosh.
But I was going to ask you a question to occupy those 4 minutes, but we're sitting here now. I will ask you the question now.
Go ahead.
Here we are now on 10 years of VDC. Hurrah, huzzah. Like, I'm waving a flag here. This is fantastic. Congratulations. Look at that. Congrats on 10 years. I didn't know you had that in the holster.
Right.
So we're sitting here. You and I have had a relationship with the entity around VDC from before there were stills, from before there was distillate.
Yeah, indeed.
Back in the beginning, there was a brand called Eads, and Eads was bringing in casks from Scotland that they were then finishing in Virginia wine casks. And on the label, they would say the two distilleries that they were combining. They would say the red wine cask that they used and then combined.
Like a double malt, right? Eads double malt.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a Speyside, there was a Highland, and there was an Isla. And there was a lady, Pat. And Pat was the first person we heard from. Oh, and very quickly, the brand name Eads comes from the distillery being built on Eads Lane in Livingston. So
got it. Yeah,
that's the Eads. E-A-D-E-S.
I remember that road going up to the road. Yeah.
Right. So Pat reached out, and so we were tasting Eads for our blogs back in the day. So predated Single Cask Nation.
Right. That's right. Oh my gosh.
Right. They had all of their plans in place to have an American single malt producing distillery that was 100% dedicated to malted barley, right? They've never done a bourbon. They've never done a rye. Like, they're focused on malted barley. So I'm really celebrating how long we have known, and I'm saying entity because there's a family, and then there's people associated with the family, and then there's the distillery from the family. So I'm not using entity to suggest there's some corporation behind the scenes. It is family owned. So just our relationship there. And so to be invited down for the 10th anniversary was such a thrill, and to know the relationship that we've been building with them, that we continue to have with them. I even pointed it out to them. We have Brian, who runs the cask house for them. Brian is one of the caricatures in the New Nation scene that has been atop the emails that have been going out, and we've got one for Amanda in the works, and so like they're so special to us, and to be sitting here with the 2025 version of the Gingerbread Stout cask finish is just so cool. And so Joshua, if you will raise your glass with me, and so congratulations, friends at VDC. Here's to this 10th anniversary. Here's to many, 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 many more of those. And thanks for all your collaboration with us at SCN and at One Nation Under Whiskey. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Good whiskey.
Very good whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's to the next 10 years.
And beyond.
10 years after that. All right. So, listeners, viewers, subscribe to our podcast on Apple, on Spotify, on Alexa, apparently. Watch this. Alexa, play Iron Maiden. I guarantee someone's house, Alexa just played Iron Maiden.
I'm surprised you didn't go with Alexa, subscribe to One Nation Under Whiskey.
Oh, shit, I should have done that. Alexa, subscribe to One Nation Under Whiskey. That's so much better.
What did what Iron Maiden have to do with anything you were saying?
I don't know why. I said like Iron Maiden. I've been listening to Iron Maiden today. So here we are.
Snickerdoodles and Iron Maiden.
Seriously.
Iron Maiden's that band that used to have Ozzy Osbourne in it, right? Ozzy Osbourne, Ginger Baker, like that was Iron Maiden, right?
Christ, you're gonna kill me. Oh my God, my good friend, my business partner, my musically inept friend, Jason Neal, Patrick Harris Johnson.
You didn't pick up on it. I was making fun of how you make a recipe, right? You didn't even pick up on that part.
I don't pick up on anything. Jason, I just drank like a full 2 ounces, whatever you sent me.
On an empty stomach, apparently.
On an empty stomach.
All right.
Yes. So subscribe via the audios, but you can also subscribe via the videos on YouTube. So please subscribe. Please tell your friends. Please ring the bell. Is there anything else? Oh, yes. Send in your questions to info@singlecastnation.com. What else, Jason? Is there anything else that I'm missing?
That's it.
That's it.
We're out of here.
All right. We're out of here. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.